And we're
Hello.
live.
I was still muted. Aha.
So was
Oh,
I.
that's better.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome everyone to the Home Assistant Release Party 2024 8, which means it's August already, which means we have definitely crossed into the last third of 2024 releases. Oh no, that's not true.
Holiday season.
That's not not yet. We're definitely over half, but hi. Let's do a quick intro round for the people that are
Smile and wave.
have not watched the release party yet, just so that you kind of know who we are, what we do. My name is Paulus Schoutz. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm the lead of engineering at Nabokasa, but you probably know me best from writing release notes and stuff. And shizzle. Again, this month.
I'm Missy.
Hey.
I'm your community and social media manager. You guys know me most from shitposting and Discord.
My name is
at that.
Stefan. My name is Stefan. I work mostly on the operating system and supervisor, but also work on Matter and Thread. And Matter is basically the reason I'm here today.
Yeah.
We lost Madeline. Yeah.
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Oh,
Marina.
muted. Oh,
Let's go.
try
Wow.
again.
Hello, Madalena. I lead the product and design team here for Nabokasa, and I love designing for Home Assistant.
Good.
Somebody's saying like better known for Choo Choo, but Madalena actually has something to Choo Choo really well on stream nowadays. Try it. Can you show? Choo Choo.
Nice.
Thank you. Oh, that thing is so good.
Beautiful.
All right. Hey, this is the 0.8 release, as already said, and it is a big release, I would say. This was a long cycle actually, because we did the beta on the 31st, and it's now the 7th. So this is the maximum number of time we can get in a month, right? And we have, well, everybody has used it. I must say, it is a huge release. There are some huge things in here which we're going to discuss, obviously, but not just that. It's like, oh, man, it's 11 new integrations, 7 move to the UI. Like the number of things I could mention in the other noteworthy release note sections are just, I had to leave things out. Otherwise, it would have been a Bible basically in thickness, or the IKEA catalog probably, something like that in thickness. But yeah, this was a stunning month actually. Looking
It's
forward to
wild,
it.
right? You expect it's summer, people are
Yeah.
chill, but it's the opposite. People are home, people are not working, people are like, I'm gonna write some code. And we've seen that.
We definitely noticed some code entered here. Yeah, that's for sure. Anything we want to mention before we dive in, by the way? Is there any? We did the dashboard stream, but we'll talk about that in a bit, I guess.
I'm thinking
You're
yeah.
touring a lot.
Yeah, I've been on the road. I've done a ton of meetups actually since the last release party. I've had a Home Assistant meetup in Denmark, in Zagreb, which is cool. Bearded Tinker organized one. Utrecht, we just had one, and I just came back from Switzerland. So
The European tour, Paul.
I was gonna say,
it's like, yeah,
where are you going next?
to France actually. I'm gonna go on holiday, but on my way to holiday, I do a little stop to meet some contributors. But after that, I'm definitely gonna like
Little stop.
log off for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Good. A well-deserved holiday upcoming.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. Okay,
Right,
let's
and
kick it off because we have so much stuff to discuss.
Yeah.
I,
Dashboard stream might be a good one to talk about, and then use that as a bridge, right? Because
Yeah.
2 weeks ago already, by the way, 2 weeks ago, we had chapter 2 of the Dashboards live stream, which was hosted by Madalena. Well, the big announcement there actually of the thing that was coming, besides it was a very interesting stream. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely should check it out. It showed a lot of ideas of where this all is going and design principles and how the research is going and what we consider. It's really an eye opener if you're if you're an impression that we just make some UI and see how it goes. That stream will definitely debunk that. I would say absolutely a must watch.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing in there was
so yeah, for the dashboard stream is like like how we have here the voice stream, and then we're go very technical and very deep into voice, and we want to do the same for any like topics that we want to go for. Like, so the dashboard stream, we go deep into dashboards and essentially the design behind that. So in this chapter, we talk about like the fine-tuning of the grid. We have made some changes. We want to do something that is called open source design. We have a forum for everyone, all the designers and product people in the community. If you'd like to help out with revamping the cards in the dashboard, please feel free to check out the stream and sign up in the forum and like join us as part of the effort.
Yeah. Well, we already had a ton of signups of designers and product managers that are willing to help out, right? Like the responses have been amazing.
I know.
Really good.
There's like a lot of great designers on our community making cards. Like I think I saw someone made like a vehicle card where like every door when you open it, it would glow in red. I thought that was so cool. It would be awesome to have it in Home Assistant, right? You know, we can figure it out. So without further ado, let's see what's new in 2024.8. I'm going to share my screen. Oh no, I'm the one who didn't share the screen. Okay, here it is.
Can we share this one? Yes.
There we go. All right, so the first game that we're playing here, I guess that's the demo time banner, I guess. So
how many differences do we need to spot here?
Yes, so spot the differences. So on the left is 2024.7, and on the right is 2024.8, which is the latest release. So there are a few differences. Like obviously, things seems a little bit more tighter on the right. So yes, we changed the grid system a little bit, and actually that's one of the reasons why it's still experimental, because we're changing the designs around. If you're like still using it, if you've been experimenting with it and resizing the cards, you might find that in this release things might move around a little bit because we changed the dimensions a little. The cool thing about it is that now you can see that like on the right, you can actually fit at least 2 more rows of cards here. Like on the left, it's already full. On the right, it's like you can still see more. And that's great mobile phone and also like in browsers. On desktop, it also feels a little closer to what the sizes of the buttons usually are for the rest of the desktop, like other desktop applications. And so yeah, so there's that, which is really cool. And we also clean up the dimensions so that you can see that like the gap here is gone. Now it's like this. Now it's like a lot tighter. Like this gap is not there anymore. The feature is actually slightly taller now. If you notice, it's actually 2 pixels taller. So this is like pixel pushing at its finest. So there's that. And of course, yes.
Everyone's noticing that you also went from C to F for your temperature there too.
Oh,
did you move?
Oh no! I'm still thoroughly metric. So, oh man, I can't change it from
Celsius,
here.
Celsius makes so much more sense. It's fine.
So, well, actually, that's so cool. I have 2 instances running. I change it like it changes both. This is amazing.
That's the instant updates of the dashboard, right? That's
yeah, this is amazing. So of course, right, there's another difference here. Let's see if you guys can see it.
Enhance.
Enhance. Okay, let me zoom. I mean, on the left side. Oh yes, the top, the badges. All right, so yes, that's new. So these are the old badges on the left, and these are the badges on the new badges on the right. So
How old were the previous ones? When did you create
I
those?
mean, these. So when we added badges, I took the design from the Google Play Store. Like, and this must be like 8 years ago, or maybe like 9. These were like so old. Like, and I don't know if, for the people who've been here with us for a long time, the auto-generated dashboard used to add badges, and then especially when you would set up the mobile app, it would add 10 or 20 sensors per mobile app. And so your first top 3-4 rows were just badges, unorganized, just dumped there.
yeah, you can have like as many badges as you like. I mean the problem. Well, so the old badges, for example, right now you can see all my bedroom lights are on, and I'm away. But at the same time, right, if you want to actually add more badges, the old way to do it is that you go in here, you press edit. You can add any entity you want, and if you have some entity with a name that's really long, and then this is what happens. You just
That looks beautiful.
That's
it's
beautiful.
like it just becomes really tall. And of course, a lot of names are definitely longer than 8 characters, English characters long. So it always like it's hard to show the real name, the whole name
Yeah.
of the entity. Versus in the new version that we have on the right, here, if I want to show the name for this badge, I can actually configure them individually. So this one, I can say it shows icon name and state, and done, right? So now the left on the right showing almost the same amount of information, but with a lot less space. So it's packed a lot tighter in the new version, like that. And if I try to add
Madalena has been unknown recently.
I know. If I try to add this one, let's see what happens. Yeah, even if the name of this is very, very long, I think it should still be fine. Yeah.
Ish.
It goes sideways
Ish.
instead of
At least you can
inside.
override the name now as well, right?
Yep. Oh, yes. So that's the other feature, right? In here, when you try to edit it, all you can do really is specify the entities, and you can't really edit it any further unless you use YAML. But here, you can actually each edit it individually, and now I can change the name of it. So if I really, really care about this update, then I can make it shorter.
Can you go a little bit lower? Because I think the one I like is actually to customize the text. So, like for example, you have your the up-to-date text now. If you would edit that badge, you can change the text.
Okay, let's see. Let's take a look. This one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I can actually change more things too, right? So you can change the name. You can actually have it icon only if you want, so it would look like very clean like that.
That's nice actually for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's like for some of the for things like a light bulb or something, right? The icon would change.
That'd be nice, yeah.
And you can also change the state content, right?
So this is my favorite thing, right? So because this is what we already had this on the chip card, and now it's very easy to add like the state and the last change, so like, oh, when did the update become available or something.
Wow, this is actually amazing. So you can actually I can show the installed version, and I want to see what the latest version is. Wow. And I can also see when did it update it, up to date. So now you got this awesome badge here. Compare on the left, which you have a giant icon.
It is nothing.
So yeah, I'm definitely very happy with the design.
The left one shows the icon of the add-on. Can you change that to the right one too? Can that be added?
Oh yes, let's see. I can do this, and there's a show entity picture option.
Oh right.
So
Yes, of course.
if I save it, then it is that SSH icon. Or if I want to use a different icon, I can do that too, right? I can type anything
Just
I like.
the MDI one.
That's
Yep.
And a collar as well. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the cool thing is, like for example, for the bedroom here, if I remove everything and have it just minimal, and I go turn off all the lights. Luckily, this is not my room. And you can actually see that the color of the icon changed.
Yeah.
While this is just says off. If I turn it on, I guess, then you can actually see that they turn into pink because my
Nice.
light is pink.
Nice. And well, you can also
Okay.
change the interaction, right? Because now it's opening the more info dialog. You can actually set it up to just toggle the entity.
Yep. So for interactions, you can actually have all sorts of things. Well, by default, of course, like for if you have other people using the dashboard in the house, one tab is the easiest to understand. If you want to hide any like weird advanced stuff that only you know in the house, then of course you can add things like you can change the behavior to something else. Like I can use this to perform action, more info, or anything like that. This can be used to toggle the light right away. So clicking that, it doesn't open the more info anymore, but instead it just turns it off right away.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So the big question that we've seen for years in the community is, can you drag and drop this stuff?
Oh no, we forgot about this. And yes, you can. Okay.
It's slowly it's becoming normal, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
it
you
used
can
to be
do
the
this.
question.
Yeah.
Right.
And here is you can't.
course,
I mean, you can do it in the
Settings.
settings actually.
Yeah.
But this is so cool. Yeah. There's also one extra things that I want to show is you can actually now make custom badges. So besides the entity badge, which is the default badge that we provide, you can actually install other custom badges, such as the one from Mushroom Card. In this case, that's the Mushroom Template Card. And what's cool about Mushroom Template Card, as you can see, the layout looks essentially the same, which is because that's where the design is based on.
Well,
And
can we just for a second, because we based our design on the Mushroom Card, but
Yes.
it's also good to note that the author of the Mushroom Cards, he actually works at Nabukasa, and he is
Yes.
full-time working on the Home Assistant front end. So he was very stoked to actually bring this design into Home Assistant and make sure that everybody can easily use this.
Yes. And we figure a way to integrate the design with the new sections view so that, it looks great together.
But what about the old view?
Yes, what about the old view? So if I have masonry, I can actually use the new badges too, which is awesome. So, okay, let me see if I can start it from scratch so I can show you that. So I'm start a view that is masonry. And there's also this section here now that is for adding badges. So I can do exactly the same and like add here. And you can add other card as usual. But of course, masonry doesn't have drag and drop. But here you can still drag and drop at the top.
That's
So,
excellent.
Da,
Boom, boom.
da-da. Amazing.
Right. Some things to keep in mind. The badges are a replacement of the existing ones. So if you have the one on the left, we will just automatically upgrade you to the beautiful ones on the right. There's
Yep.
nothing you have to do for that. And it will try to maintain the same information in there. So you have custom names and titles and such. It should all go over into the right one and save some space.
And if you really love the old design, since we now allow you to make custom badges, there's a migration path.
Yeah.
Would be cool for historical purposes if somebody made a historical badge kind of custom integration or something.
Yeah, someone can do
That's
that.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Hey, I see a question here I want to highlight on top of Stefan's head. Are these new badges only at the top, or can they be moved to other sections?
So that is a work in progress, and that's a great idea. Yeah, we want to make sure that, as you might notice, these like this design with the height of these badges kind of fit right inside the sections area. There's a lot of space here. So we do plan to be able to allow you to add badges to sections, but not in this release yet. We're still ironing out some of the design and code issues.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Challenges.
Yeah.
Right? We will solve them, that's for sure. But yeah, this looks absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to see what happens more with this. This is absolutely beautiful. I like the more compact look in general, not just like the cards and the tall cards that are more compact, but also like the badges now themselves. I would generally have used the mushroom chips myself before, but this is now just built in a nice. I think this works really well.
One
Thank
step
you.
closer to a sections view based default dashboard.
Yes.
Oh yes.
I know.
The Holy Grail.
No.
That is the
One day, right?
one day.
One step at a time. And we are steadily going towards it because we have a pretty good plan and roadmap here. So
Yeah. Well, this is, by the way, just to people, like, just to explain, is that we design in the open, right? Like, we build stuff, we ship stuff iteratively. The section view has been live for a couple of months. Now we tune the grid. Now there's like the badges are coming. There's been some card updates, features have been added, and we're just slowly going to build this out until it's like we hit a bar and we think now everybody should, like, this should become the default for like anyone with a default dashboard. And then like we'll update that. So yeah, it's happening, but slowly.
Yeah, gradually, one step at a time.
All right. I think this is all it about dashboarding for now, I would say. Am I missing something?
There's one question from Patrick, which actually I think is interesting. What will happen with the badges which I currently use in picture element cards?
That is not related yet, but that's a good question. So we, as I mentioned earlier, right, we are looking for anyone who's interested in developing cards and designing cards to join us. So if you have been developing awesome cards for like Hack Store already, we would love to like have some of your creations. And one of the things that we definitely want to do is update and revamp our existing cards, and pictures, entities card would be certainly one of them. Area card would be one of them. And they have very similar elements that look similar to the badges. And it would be great that if those cards are able to use the same system, right, to integrate badges within the card itself.
Well, actually, I think this question is that because on the picture elements card, you were actually able to add a badge, right? Like the old style badge, you were able to.
Those old style, but you're the picture elements
on the card. Those will also be the new badges.
Speaking of picture elements card, there actually is quite an update this month, actually.
Oh, if you still have your dashboard open, you can maybe show it.
I wanted that. Let me see, because this one I didn't prepare for it, but
no, but just like add one and see what happens.
Yeah, right? So the old one on the left is a picture. What card is it again? Picture
element. The second one, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, picture elements card used to be like this. YAML, no visual editor available, and you're on your own. Done. So there's that. On the right, that's a beautiful new contribution, which is let's see if I do it. Edit.
Thank you, Carwatts, again.
Thank you, Carwatts, again. So picture elements. So okay, this is a lot better because now you got card options, you got visibility, layout.
It is still the old badge. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it still lives in our code base.
Somewhere.
Probably a copy then.
Oh yeah, this actually does work. Like somewhere.
Nice.
There. But yeah, it's
so if you know how to update this one, feel free to join the working group. You can find the link in the second stream dashboard blog and join. We can help. Use your help here.
Yeah, but what's really cool is that now is that you can add badges right here in the visual editor. So now you can have, if you would like to add an icon, you can. It's
That's
not drag and drop yet, but wink, wink. If you want to implement drag and drop, please go ahead. But at least this is a little bit better, more visual now. At least I can kind of nudge it around like this.
Yeah, some people think it's much better. Not just a little better. It's much better already.
Much better. Yes.
Yeah.
This is good.
It is.
So, yeah, this is awesome. So I can add a label. Yeah. This card is always so much fun because it's like the you can do anything with it. You can like use it not just for a floor plan. You can use it as a diagram for your car, your space shuttle, anything, and you can just like point at it. You can even make like a graph out of this actually, even if you're like good at like YAML.
Yeah. If you're good
It
at
needs
that.
a lot of tweaking and tuning to make something useful with that card, in my opinion. But it can be really cool if you use indeed like a layout of like a blueprint of your house.
But
You
yeah,
put
look
stuff
at
on it.
how quickly I got to customize this versus the one on the left. I probably it would take a long time. This is amazing. Yeah, we have to use this card more.
All right.
Yeah. What else do we got?
I want to start talking about a big subject because, in my opinion, we're going to hit something that is probably older than the badges. No, I'm pretty sure it's older than badges. But we're going to say goodbye to it, basically. Now, don't be scared. But we are going to say goodbye to services, right? The term services and the thing that's called service calls that has been here for, I don't know, probably since the first dawn that you made the thing, Paulus.
Yep. Definitely in the very first version.
Yeah. So service calls and action, indeed, JLo, indeed. So service calls are going away. We're going to say goodbye to service calls as a term, basically, and we're going to replace it, just like JLo put out just now, with actions. And I think this is a big deal because we have been talking about services for ages. We have been talking about service calls and using them in your automations forever. And probably there are 60 million tutorials out there in the 10 years that we are around. Where the term service and service calls has been used. So this is not something that is taken lightly. This is a big change with big impact and takes a lot of time to get used to.
Yeah.
So the question quickly arises, like, come on, guys, why? Just tell me, why are you doing this? Are you trying to like bully us, or why are you changing things? It was perfectly fine as is, right? That's the question. Why indeed? So that's a good question, and I think we need to discuss that a little bit today and clarify why this happens. Because if you paid attention closely, actually, and if I pick up like an older version of Home Assistant, hold on, let me create a new automation here. If I pick up my screen, can I swap to my screen? Yes, share this tab instead. If I share my screen, this is actually Home Assistant in January, where we actually started changing the UI already and added action here with the Add Action button, with the Add Action screen. And this has been here for months already. And this actually worked pretty well. And what this tried to solve at the time is new users understanding Home Assistant.
Yep.
That's the very short version.
Yep. And we talk about like new users. It doesn't necessarily mean like newbies who like doesn't know how to use an iPhone or something like that. Like it can be anyone who come from another advanced platform. Not gonna say the names, but like as someone who is really advanced, like I know how to set up a home lab and everything. But if I come to Home Assistant, I try to find actions to set up my automations, and I can't find it. I would just assume that Home Assistant cannot do it. And it turns out it's just hidden under a different name that I would not know, called service call. And it's very important.
I remember when I started using Home Assistant, which is not that long, I was really confused by the name service. For me, I don't know, with like a more computer science background, a service is something long running more. And to me, it just felt wrong. I was like confused by the term.
Yeah.
I think a good UX design often is like when you learn like a new product, you always have to learn a bunch of words. Like imagine like a video game, right? You have to learn a bunch of like magic spells and everything, and you have to find your way around. And too many magic spells, it becomes a really confusing game to play. And that the same goes for UX, right? Like if we introduce a lot of like words that are idiosyncratic, that would confuse the hell out of like people and like make it really much harder to learn. So we want to use terms that like everyone is familiar with. If you use like Samsung Smart Things or like Google Home, when you make automations there, they also use the word actions as well.
Yeah.
There's even another thing here that's going on, and that is that the term service is used in more places than just automations.
We couldn't help ourselves. Yeah.
We couldn't help ourselves. No, but Home Assistant integrates with devices and here we go again. The same term is there, services, which is also found here, right? Like devices and services found in the settings menu as well. But this terminology here, as in services, has a different meaning. In this case, it's meant to be like a service provided by a piece of software or a web service, like a weather service we connect to, or things that Home Assistant at least integrates with. So when we're talking about services, it's often unclear what we meant by it, right? We often see the confusion on what is the service then in that case. So this is a part of the confusion we also want to take away. The term service will now be used from now on as a true thing that like indicates a service, like a web service, a weather service, AWS services, Amazon service kind of deal, anything that provides a piece of software.
Yep.
So,
how does this work?
This was a lot of work, right?
It was a lot of work.
It's the UI that already had in the automation editor the action part, but it was not just this part. Like it's also like if you go into the developer tools, you will now notice that the services tab is gone. This became actions. And it's not just the selector here that just now says action, but also like all services that are in here. Is there the generic turn on? I can never find the generic one. I'm not sure why. Here we go. The descriptions of these things, right? They used to have service in them too. But think about the documentation and all the examples we have where we use the term service. I think we had over 25,000 occurrences of the term services in our documentation, which all one by one had to be evaluated and checked because we didn't know if the term service was used in terms of like a software or web service or services in terminology for automation services, the call services. So this was quite a bit of work to all adjust, but it has been all adjusted and been straightened out now. So that's super nice. Good. To add to that, what does this mean for you?
How many releases?
And none. This is right. Nothing. Nothing will change. Nothing will break. If you upgrade, you don't have to do anything. Everything keeps working. You don't have to upgrade. You don't have to. Well, you have to upgrade to Home Assistant, of course, to the latest version. But you don't have to upgrade your automations or scripts, or you don't have to do anything. Everything will keep working as is. We're not deprecating anything. It's just terminology that changes and things that we need to learn. What does change a little bit is if you're a YAML user of YAML automations, and for example, I don't know, turn on I clicked this one. That's a bad example. Hold on. That was an accidental click. Light.turn on. Let's turn on the light. Let's choose an entity here. So what did change is this little piece in YAML. So if you write automation in YAML, you will now see action here. Can I zoom in a little more? There we go. So there's now action written here. Previously, this would say service. This has changed to action as well for consistency. However, if you have service, it will work perfectly fine.
Forever.
Forever.
We have we have a rule in Home Assistant: we don't break YAML automations.
Yep. If you're a really long time user of Home Assistant, you might recognize this one. This has been, we got rid of it 4 or 5 years ago-ish.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, I believe it was the first month of What the Heck. So that would be 6 almost. We got rid of that one at the time. It still works even today. So we don't break this part of the automation editors or automations. That's a general rule we live by. This is the same thing for that. We also use and show actions as of now everywhere, but service will still work.
If you use the automation editor, we will automatically update your YAML from service to actions, so that when you are if you were to turn this into a blueprint or share these automations, that it will use the new modern recommended syntax. Of course, if you have your own automations outside of automation.yaml, we never touch those. We only load them, so just do with it as you want. They will keep working.
Yep. Got a question here. What about calling scripts is now action.name? No, because it's still a script. So turning on a script, that's not. So turning on a script would be action is script.turn on, or the script service.
Well, every
can be
script
done
has
to,
their own action, right?
yeah,
Also.
they have their own action. So script.myscript,
Blah, blah. Yeah,
something like that. So that would work just like before.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is really this first bit. Yeah. So that's the huge thing. We're saying goodbye to actions, which sounds sorry, to services. I still need to get used to it myself as well. By the way, this will take time. I've been using the term service for 7 years as well now. I'm now 7 years with a project. 7 years of seeing services basically daily is now no longer the case.
Is it going to break anything in Node-RED?
No,
Nope.
all APIs are compatible. So this will all be, just like the YAML, the APIs remain compatible. We'll accept the word services. The services REST API is still there. The call service WebSocket commands is still there. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, someone noticed something here. A little other improvement that can be made.
I'll go ahead and give you that spoiler. We actually planned on making that change to do this as well. But it didn't make it. So we're still working on that. It's still the plan. We haven't done that, but that in the same way we've done the name changes now will be fully backwards compatible. But that is something we want to do for clarity. To add to that would be triggers that now are platform, I don't know, Sun, something like that, right? We now have platform here, which is not consistent with what's happening here. So we want to change this to trigger 2. So that's a bit of a spoiler. We're working on these little pieces to make this more, I don't know, fluent, I would say, to what it is now. But that's work in progress, and hopefully we get there. Still some challenges ahead.
Frank, somebody's asking about the number 1 in the bottom right. I think that's Grammarly.
Yes, this is Grammarly. I'm not sure why it shows up. Turn off. It's this is Google Chrome I'm streaming from. I don't actively use this browser. So I'm just using it for streaming because it's easier to switch tabs.
I just want to highlight this question, which is unrelated to actions. Is the recorded issue fixes release where it freezes at 4 a.m.? This has already been released in a patch release.
0.2.
Last release. Yeah.
7.2 fixed it. It fixed it.
Yeah. So that was quickly released after Draco identified and found and fixed it.
Yeah, we had a little delay on releasing that one, which was mostly caused by being careful, right? This is was a database change that we didn't want to break more. So we tested this a couple of times overnights before we actually shipped that patch release, but it should be fixed now.
And one of the things, the reason this is happening, or this issue was caused because some people had done a partial migration, or some of the migrations hadn't fully finished in the past. And we didn't realize that because the migration was either marked as finished, or I'm not sure exactly what happened, the exact cause there. But then all of a sudden now the database didn't match up exactly how we expected it. And then at 4 a.m. when it was doing I think it was the purging check or something like this, some SQL broke, took down the whole recorder, which was also not good, of course. But it froze and no data was recorded. Yeah, but that's all fixed.
If we talk about Recorder, by the way, for this release, one of the bigger things to highlight maybe for this release as a backwards incompatible change, and we'll get to that, but we're already talking about Recorder. If you upgrade to this release and you're running on PostgreSQL or PostgreSQL or MariaDB or MySQL, so not the standard built-in Home Assistant database, but something external you've set up and managed yourself, then this update might take a while, depending on the size of your database. We have seen people with huge databases during beta, like gigabytes, like 30, 40 time size gigabytes. Depending on the hardware your database service runs on, this upgrade might take a while. And during that time, your Home Assistant will not be available. It will show you a screen that it's migrating its database, and it needs to complete that. This might take hours. In such case, might take a few minutes. We've seen some people that have literally waited for a few hours before it came up again.
It's taken 40 minutes. So
Right.
it's a long time.
So the change that is happening, and this is SQLite, our default database, actually doesn't have this issue. The number field was made as 32-bit, which has a limited identifier of 3.2 billion. I mean, if you have an active Home Assistant instance, which is why you probably use an external database, then you might actually run over the 3.2 billion events that are happening, especially if you're like a longer term user. And so this migration makes it 64-bit, and we can go on forever. Well, I mean, there's a limit, but it's a lot higher.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you upgrade and you don't use the internal database of Home Assistant, then please be patient. Let it finish.
Yeah.
It's important. All right. Yeah.
So before we continue,
Yeah.
I wanna. Well, before we continue with the release notes, we have. I also made a change this release. I want to talk about it. No, you have now at the loading screen. We've added that Home Assistant is a project of the Open Home Foundation, and one of the reasons for this is that we are. As I was going through all my meetups in Europe, I realized that not always everybody is aware of the Open Home Foundation. The Open Home Foundation is a nonprofit that we launched in April of this year. And refresh.
Refresh real fast.
You generally don't see it this long, but it's there. But yeah, the Open Home Foundation is the owner of Home Assistant. So we put Home Assistant, ESP Home, all technology we've been built into the Open Home Foundation to make sure that Home Assistant can never be sold, to make sure that Home Assistant cannot be enshittified, that it will always be free, and no restrictions on it, right? So we are all working on Home Assistant. The people you see on the stream, we are employed by Nabu Casa, which is, I founded Home Assistant. I started also Nabu Casa. Nabu Casa is the commercial partner of the Open Home Foundation. So if you want to support the Open Home Foundation, we recommend that you subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud by Nabu Casa, which generates revenue for Nabu Casa, which, as a commercial partner of the Open Home Foundation, it will need to spend on further developing the Open Home Foundation project. So this is how we make sure that there's continuous development for Home Assistant, for ESP Home, for all the projects that you like and love. Exactly. I forgot the graphic. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, if you like all the stuff that you're seeing, what we are doing, please support us. Home Assistant Cloud is the best way to support us. Buying official Home Assistant hardware is a second best way to support us, but of course that's more like a one-time support, while Home Assistant Cloud will make sure that we keep going and keep making awesome stuff. So yeah, if you notice Open Home Foundation in your loading screen, it is because we are a proud member of the Open Home Foundation. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, and one last thing I just want to mention, Nabu Casa is hiring. We're actually looking for a partnership manager. So we do make a lot of talk with different companies about like the Works with Home Assistant program. It's a program that Companies can certify that their products align with our values of privacy, choice, sustainability. So yeah, it's a good investment for our users. We are getting a lot of inquiries, especially since we became a foundation. So we're looking for somebody to like do this full time, work with the ecosystem on getting more companies on board. So if you are interested in this kind of position, definitely reach out to us at doublecast.com. There's a jobs link. It was just posted in the comments as well.
Do if you have like the ability to do that. It would be very nice to see that partnerships picked up more. It just benefits us as the community to have like supported hardware out of the box, right? And listed a choice of good supported hardware, basically, right? That's the important thing there.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. What else is there this release? This is I want to highlight a thing that Madalena brought up a few releases ago. I'm not sure if it was during a meeting or during a stream. I really don't know anymore. But at some point she said it would be so cool if I actually knew what was like added here and changed here. And she was right. We don't know, right? If you upgrade Home Assistant and something brings in new entities, or you add a new integration and you wonder what it like added or did, or you added maybe a new device to your ZHA or Z-Wave, and what did it add? Well, now you can. You can actually, if I go into this huge list here, you can now actually sort by when something was created and find it. Nice, right? And modified. So you now know when. But it doesn't show anything here. And this is where the new data tables come in, because we have this little cog icon here. And there are now 2 hidden fields by default, which you can enable if you like.
Boom.
And there we go. Now they're here. However,
there's a lot empty, actually, as you can see, because we didn't track this data, right? So created will be empty for all your existing stuff. Modified, of course, will slowly pop in as stuff gets updated.
Yep.
Yeah.
It slowly will go. If you look into the code, somebody asked why is there 1970 in there. If you look into the code, it's 1970, which is Unix timestamp 0, right? That's where the timer of Linux started counting, the epoch time started counting. So we store 1970, but that's internally. We show a minus if we don't know. And over time, this will become more useful.
We actually invented a time machine in Sen Audio devices back in 1970s and plugged it in.
What means modified here? I guess not the state, right?
No, so devices don't have state. So for device, we track model ID we're tracking, which firmware it's running, which URL you can configure it, visit it, name.
So metadata.
Metadata, indeed. You can do the same thing for entities as well. And that is also a little bit different because this also doesn't reflect the state. So it reflects things like when you change something, right? If I go in here and change the name to, I always like editing my system. There we go. And now it's been modified, right? I will never find this one again.
No.
But yeah, this is, you will see when it's like actually modified in
it's just the metadata, Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, if you've been working on a bunch of devices and entities, you can go back to that very quickly, not just like devices that you just discovered too.
Yep. While we are here, there's something else new, and that is being found on the integrations dashboard, like that lists all your integrations. And if you're with us for a longer time, or maybe use some obscure integrations or less popular integrations, maybe older integrations, you would maybe know that some integrations still are managed through YAML, right? If we look at Home Assistant, there are 2,500 integrations right now, something like that. It's a lot. And probably around half of them are still manually configured over YAML, and this is a part of our like ongoing effort to migrate those away. But in most cases, you actually don't see them a lot. I don't have them actually. I added some here for the case of the demo, but the most popular integrations actually are all like just click here, right, and add them, and it's nice and beautiful. But if you have a YAML configuration, what happened in the past, if you added that piece of snippet in the configuration file and restarted Home Assistant, then how would you know that it worked? You wouldn't, right?
No,
Yeah. So what people did is that you go to the developer tools and go to the states and then try to figure out and guess what the name would have been and see if it was loaded, right? This was the documented way as well to figure out what entities it provided, which was not really helpful. So what we have done now is that we have now combined this integrations dashboard with whatever you have set up through the UI, which was already there, plus whatever was added in YAML as well. So in this case, I've set up the demo integration. And the demo integration is actually a YAML integration, YAML-based integration. So there's this little icon here that indicates that. If I try to add demo, I'll show you this highlight one, tell you that this cannot be added through the UI. It will redirect you through the documentation here and tell you that you need to edit your configuration file to add this one.
Yeah.
So that is now no longer there's no longer searching. It will also show you the devices and entities it brings in. So it's no longer hidden. It's now there. Here's another beautiful one. Everything but the kitchen sink, which is used for development. Would not recommend on using that ever. The remote Python debugger. This is also one that is like for development, but it's YAML only. Nobody should need that in the UI. But yeah, it's now here. You can see them all.
Yeah, and you can click on this still, right? Like you can go to the remote Python debugger page, but we will tell you like, okay, this was, you can't do anything really here. I mean, we will link you to devices, entities if we can, but that's it.
So what is cool, what previously you couldn't do, is like you can now actually click on something and find the documentation and list the issues that are known with this one, but also enable and disable debug logging. So that was previously also not available in UI, and now it is. So that's helpful.
It really gives you a full picture of like everything that Home Assistant integrates with. Like that is like, I feel like at least like 1/3 of the integrations there, I actually didn't know that I even had.
Yep. There's another one in this same category here, which is helpers. And Stefan dropped off. What happened there? Maybe it will be back probably. So there's another one in this category, and that these are our helpers. And we have a lot of helpers, right? Most of them, just like any other helper, are available through the UI, but some of them are YAML only. And then again, every single helper can be configured through YAML as well. If you prefer YAML, just like automations and scripts, helpers can be defined in YAML if you want to. Sometimes they would show up in this list. Sometimes they wouldn't. So if you had an input helper in YAML, that would show up. If you had some other helper in YAML, it would not. It was really like a hit and miss if it would be listed here, which was annoying. So that has been addressed in the same get-go. We are now showing every single helper we find on your system, regardless on how they have been set up. And they will have like these little icons here.
There's a question here, which actually applies to both helpers and integrations. Like, will this work for Hex integrations? Yes, any custom component will also show up on this list because it's just an integration. If it's YAML based, it will just pop up here now as well. It just needs to be show up as a helper. Obviously, you need to have the manifest set to be a helper. Otherwise, it'll show up on this page.
I don't think
I have a few integration that is like the triple thread that has all 3 badges.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen one. I don't have one. Like then would be cloud, custom, and YAML defined, right? Those are the 3 icons we show. So it would be the full bingo, I guess.
The bingo. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it. What I have around these little things here.
This is going to be a really nice quality of life improvement. And I think this is just another step to show that, like, hey, this is the place where you're going to see your whole system, whether like, no matter how you configure it. And it's a really nice improvement.
So one of the things that it often happens, especially with new users, and we've been talking about new users as well with the actions, right? And what often happens, imagine you come to Home Assistant for the first time and you're greeted with that YAML stuff, which is not the best like greeting, right? But let's say you manage to add it and then restart Home Assistant with your freshly added piece of YAML, and this is your first experience. And then you're like, okay, where is it? It's not listed. And this actually happened a lot, right? A lot of our questions in our community forums, on our Discord chat, which you should definitely both join, by the way. Those like often popped up those questions. Like I added this snippet of YAML, I restarted Home Assistant, and now what? I don't see it. Did I do something wrong? And yeah, this aids with that question. This helps preventing people asking that question. Hey, Stefan,
Welcome back.
back alive.
Oh yeah. Here's an interesting question, actually, which is kind of related. Like, why is there no people helper? I think that's actually a cool feature request, which we allow grouping many things, but not actually people.
I've
That
tried.
actually makes sense.
I've actually tried.
Ashton was talking about that yesterday. One of our support people, he said that like when you set up some automations for specifically like when you're home and not at home, if you only have one phone in there, you're like you leave and everything does like you're away from home kind of stuff. So it treats the single person is the only one that's in the house, even if the presence sensors are picking up humans that are still in the house. So no, I think that would be a really good help, honestly.
I've tried looking into grouping people users as a group helper, and it is difficult because there are multiple resources with time, and it's
I guess
actually
it's set to zone names, right, and not just to not just home and away.
So if you want to automate, in general, you automate on not if people are in the same place. You automate on the fact if people are in the same zone, right? You would automate on your home zone instead of like a group of people, unless you want to know if a group of people are specifically in a specific zone, which is more of a rare use case. But what people are generally looking for is just automating the home zone, which we
That's
actually changed a couple of releases back, or maybe even a year back
it's
now.
only a year, I think.
Yeah, probably. But they now have the number of people in the zone, right, as the state, so you can operate on the fact if somebody is in the zone or nobody is in the zone, or even like if you're a family member of like 4 people, you could even automate on the fact there are 4 people in the home zone right now or more to know if everybody is home. Talking about groups, we do have some new changes in groups this release, and then I need to go to helpers and not the integrations page. By the way, let me go to the helpers page right here and add a group. We now have 2 new groups here. One being the button group. Yeah, right. But maybe if you like have all kinds of reboot buttons on your ESP home devices, you can like reboot all your ESP home devices with a single click. I'm not sure why, but you could. And we have the notified group. This one is kind of interesting because the notified group can group notification entities. And this is an important difference because we are in the process of moving notification services or actions, now called notifications actions, to entities. Some notification integrations already support the notification entities, some don't. One that doesn't is the mobile app. So for mobile apps, that doesn't work yet. But if you have notification integrations that creates these entities, you can group them and can make groups of notifications. If you want to do it the old style way with the services / actions, and then that is only available through YAML at this point still.
Yeah.
So that's a cool one. Another one cool here in the helpers would be templates. Templates got a lot of love this cycle. There previously was only binary sensor and sensor in the UI. And we now have button, image, select, and switch as well. Button is actually pretty cool here. Paul is talking about fun making about a button, but you can actually make this a sort of like a mini script, mini automation that does a couple of actions.
It's literally the same as a script.
It's yes, almost. The script is more versatile and a little more complex. Maybe this makes a nice little button in the UI, but yes, it.
But I like the device picker one. The adding, being able to add helpers to a device has been very, very nice.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. You cannot do that with a script.
Yeah.
So these are a couple of new helpers in the UI. Thank you so much for contributing that, by the way. That was contributed. All right. Yeah, this was, I think, it for this part of these notes I had. I believe we also have some updates on Assist, right?
Oh. Oh, Llama?
Llamas Olama.
Oh, Llama?
Olama. Yeah, so I'll kick it off, but I think Marlena has a demo prepared.
Yes.
So a couple of releases ago, actually just 2 months ago, we made a blog post about our vision for AI and kind of our approach to AI is right now. We don't really see any solutions yet for AI, so we are just making sure that Home Assistant is the best place to experiment with AI in the smart home. Now, of course, we're set up for success. You're in control of your own data, right? Like that's kind of our core value is like your data, your control. So as a user, you have your own data locally at home. Taking an AI, giving it access to that data, to that control is a no-brainer. If you want to do that, do it. So we made sure that, and we say AI, but we actually mean large language models, which is the popular implementation of AI nowadays. We allowed them access to control Home Assistant. Now, there was only one limitation when we were launching this, is that we only added support to the cloud-based large language models from Google and OpenAI. Now, the first question, everybody was like, why is there no local control? So good news, because for local LLMs in Home Assistant, we use Olama. Olama is a service in Linux speak, Stefan. It's a background application that you install your computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, doesn't really matter. It will automatically download the large language models that you specify. So it allows Home Assistant to connect to this service and allow Home Assistant to interact with local AI. Olama has added support for tool calling, and tool calling is the way that large language models can control applications, any application, which also allowed Home Assistant to integrate Olama tool calling. So Shuliaka contributed that. He's part of our large language model team. And then, we started to running our benchmarks. We have a cool benchmark that we run against different large language models to see how well they perform. Now, our original benchmark, Alan Porter is in charge of our benchmarks. It was created to really push the limits of the large language model. So it was like very ambiguous, and it had like overlapping name, and areas were the same. Where like there was a light called kitchen light, but there were also lights in an area called kitchen. And we kind of really tested and really made it difficult to see if the large language model would succeed. Now we realized that when we were testing local LLMs, they are not up to to that level of like specificity. But to be fair, most of the times when you talk to your house, you're not going to have these kind of edge cases. So Alan created a new benchmark called Assist Mini, which is more balanced between all the different domains of covers, of fans, switches, lights. It has less areas, less entities. It is less complicated. We've run new benchmarks, and then once we had a base score for the models that we were running, Alan has been able to like tune the prompt, tune like the kind of things, how we expose it. We do some error correction on the data that's coming back, and actually we were able to get where Llama 3.1. I know this is a lot of Llama, but this is just open source AI is kind of it's all Llama name based. Llama 3.1 is the state-of-the-art open source model from Meta. And we were able to basically double the score from like 40% to like 86% right now of passing on the benchmark by just doing all these tweaks. So it was already really good just to have this benchmark so we could iterate and iterate. And there you go. Yeah. And so here you can see different local large language models being run. You can see Llama 3.1, which was released like 2 weeks ago or something, and XLAM 7B performing really well. You really need 7-8 billion parameters, which is Llama 3.1 and XLAM. If you start looking at the 1 billion parameters, 27% success score, really, really poor. You need, and this means you need a bigger computer, right? This is not Raspberry Pi. I'm going to run AI stuff. You need like an Intel NUC, a bit more. It's
On your
more
SD
powerful.
card, huh?
But it's here, and what is really great now that it's here is that we can start experimenting and iterating. I see JLo asking which version of Llama 3.1 this is. I would assume this is the 8 billion, but that's a good point. We should probably update this graphic. But yeah, I'm really stoked we got this going now. Also very happy Olama added tool support, which allowed us to build this on top. Then I'm not sure if Marlene, is your demo ready?
I need a second. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we added.
Sorry.
What hardware do we need? So I think you should be able to run. Yeah, I mean it's very difficult to give. Like I think an Intel NUC should be fine. Any of the Intel NUCs, but I'm not 100% sure what is. Like it all depends on the speed that you want, right? The faster the CPU is, the faster the models will run. Raspberry Pi, maybe it will run, not even maybe, but then it will be like 1 token every 2 seconds or something, which it means that like every 2 seconds 1 word is being outputted. That stuff is not very usable. But yeah, here JLo is saying an Intel NUC i5, that's not fine. One other change, by the way, that we made for this release for the assist dialog inside Home Assistant, that if you're talking to an assistant that is unable to control Home Assistant, will actually show you a little banner, because we saw that in the last release where people would talk to Olama before Olama was able to control Home Assistant, and then be like, it doesn't work. And we're like, yeah, because it doesn't have API access. So now we highlight that fact, which should avoid some user confusion. Are you ready, Marlena?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
So
I think you dropped your screen share.
Oh,
Just saying.
well,
like,
I have
I saw a
because I have a
screen,
different
but-
screen. So yeah.
Okay.
So I at my home I set up a server. It's running Windows. It has NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 Super. So not top of the line, but a few years, like 5 years old, I think by now. But it's still pretty capable. If you go on the wow, that so if you go if you download Olama, it runs on the system tray, right? You can see it right here, and it only works in the command line. So if you type Olama, it shows you all the commands, and you can see like what models that I've installed. I have Llama 3.1 here. I can try like run Llama 3.1 first and ask them very simple questions and see how fast it is. Right, so this is the prompt, so I can say, "How are you doing?" It's not bad.
That's a pretty good speed.
Yeah, pretty good speed, right? For the graphics card, it's good. So I can ask like a general question, it would just work, right?
Yeah.
So there's with that setup, you need to set up the Olama host, but then you can connect it to the Home Assistant. So I have it in another window here, which is in the settings. Oops. So to add it, so you just need to type like the IP address, right? And
just
the
noticed
port,
how
right?
just notice how add service is listed here too, right? For the confusion to serves and actions.
Yeah, those are actually service though, right?
This is actually a service, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like press next, it would actually detect all the models that you have installed. I install Llama 3.1. You can also install other things you want, but in this case, it's already configured. In here, you can actually, it's a recap, right? You in the last year of the voice, we showed that you can actually choose like have no control or assist, which means it can control your house. One thing that I do learn it the hard way is that Home Assistant does expose, I think, all the entities to assist by default, I think.
Not all of them. Would we select like all your lights, your switches?
Yeah.
We have certain criteria.
All
but it's-
primary entities as well, right?
Yeah, so it's like like I realized that it does like make this change of speed a lot depending on like how much it is. So how many devices I have. So first I want to show demo of like just no control first. And if I go to my my dashboard, I can ask the same question, right? How are you? Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, you can choose like llama here, right? How are you?
Notice the banner in top that Paul has just mentioned. You cannot control your home from this dialog.
And I'm functioning. Thank you for asking. And then I can ask the same question. And you might notice that the answer here is actually a lot shorter because the way we write the prompt, we ask the Olama to be direct and like succinct in the reply. And one thing is like it doesn't reply, like this bubble does not show up until the entire text is generated, versus when you see it in the command line, you can see the words flowing out as it like processed. So there's that. So of course, right, this is not controlling my house right now. Actually, if I look at this, I can say turn on bedroom light. It would not be able to do that. Oh, actually, it would know how to BS that. Actually,
What is that? Yeah, well, this is the problem, right? Like,
Welcome to the world of the AI, right?
well, it was funny. We used to inject if there was no control. We used to actually add to the prompt that was being sent saying you're unable to control Home Assistant. But then, especially like the 8 billion models, they would just kind of randomly in responses inject. By the way, I can't control Home Assistant.
So yeah, it was a hallucination. It actually didn't change the light. So I actually have to turn on assist. Now update. Now if I go to the dashboard, you can see the light here actually on the bottom right here is off right now. So then I can do turn on. Well, I just typed the entire name first and see if it can do it.
Yeah, it's
Live
taking
demo.
a long time,
Live
so that's
demo. Live demo.
good.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Wait, let me put in a banner that helps.
Oh no.
Yay.
No. It worked earlier. I'm sorry. Okay, so turn on the lights in the, maybe because I didn't expose it, maybe turn on the lights in the bedroom. Yeah, it does take a while because as you might notice, like local LLM, I don't have. Oh, it does. Yeah, they turn on the lights in the bedroom.
Can you say turn them off again?
Oh yeah, turn them off again.
This is of course pushing the LLM because now they have to teach, like, look at what was previously selected.
Contextual prompts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
So I think with the lower parameter, like just for the reference, like this is like 8 billion parameters. Things like ChatGPT are like 460 billion parameters or something. So these models are a lot smaller than the big models, but you can run them at home. So that's very nice.
In comparison, I do have ChatGPT 4.0 mini here, so you can see how much faster it is. How are you? Yep.
That's a lot faster. But it is cloud though, right?
It is cloud. The price has gone down significantly. Google and OpenAI are in a price war, so which is nice.
Yes, and not only that, this is Madalena is now showcasing the new ChatGPT 4.0 mini model.
Yep,
which is now the default as of this release, which is like a factor 10 cheaper or something. If you like the more expensive model, because it is a little bit better, but not, I would say not worth it, not 10 times. But if you like the more expensive model, you can of course select that still in Home Assistant and force it onto the 4.0 model instead if you want to.
This is amazing. It's so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, so that's the thing. So if for Llama, like right now I'm using an NVIDIA GTX 1660 Super. maybe if you're rich enough to have a 4090, it might be a lot faster.
I think I want to highlight this question because I think this is an interesting thing to consider. AI uses a lot of electricity. And if you run an AI machine at home, which is, even if it's not being utilized, obviously when you utilize it, it will use more electricity, but even the base is like, it's using electricity, right? So it can be actually that if you would use a cloud API, which is a shared resource, that the overall electricity use can be lower. Of course, at home, you can use solar if you have solar, but then at night, you might need batteries. Like there's a lot of things to consider there, right? It's not straightforward, but it will use a lot of electricity regardless of where it runs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, ChatGPT is so much faster. But yeah, it is in the cloud. So
And still an API. Even ChatGPT will hallucinate if you want it at times.
Oh yeah,
It for sure does.
Yeah.
Use with care would be my signal. It is it's very interesting. It's very cool technology. It can be very wrong, and especially depending on which devices you.
Yeah.
So think about the devices you're exposed to these things. Like probably don't do locks or your oven and things like that. But yeah. Think about
One
it. It's really
one
cool.
other thing, by the way, like Marlena is showing now, of course, the assist dialogue. It will work with our voice assistants, right? Like if you use a landline phone, if you use an ESP home-based S3 box, for example, or if you're going to use our voice kit, which we are working on, which is coming later this year, you will be able to either talk to a large language model or just talk to our local non-large language model fast, but a lot more limited in supported sentences conversation agent. So yeah. And of course, by the way, this you can also put this in automations, which I think is a fun one. You can have it generate unique notifications based on the state of your house, or you can even try to give it conditional commands like, only turn on this lamp when this other lamp is on or something, which works 78% of the time.
I like it a lot for summarizing things, right? Give it a
Yeah.
bunch of data into an automation. Like, here's my agenda for today. This is the weather, and please summarize it and throw it to my speakers over like a text to speech thing. And your house is suddenly summarizing your the meetings you have that day and the things you have to do that day, and tells you the weather with it. And like, it's so cool to do stuff like that. It's so
Wow.
useful.
This is awesome. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a great advancement that we have in the past 2 years. And now it's ready for you to experiment and have fun with.
Yes.
I would love to see what you can
There's
do.
a question here from Dion. Would you consider selling an AI in a box to complement the yellow-green line? Not yet. So AI is changing so fast. We are currently running AI models on video cards. Video cards were not meant to run AI models. So there will be a new generation chips, and I would hate to create a box that it will be obsolete within a year or two, right? So things are moving so fast right now that I'm kind of more like we're sitting back and wait. Also, because we don't have a solution. It's not like, okay, now you can talk to your house way better all the time and it's like more fun. That's not worth a box, right? You can buy just a video card today to do that kind of stuff. It needs to really level up your home assistant experience, I feel, to warrant a box from us. That will be awesome. Yeah.
All right.
That's all I have for the demo. Thank you.
Cool.
We do have some more assist things. I'm not sure if we have demos for them, but you can now ask it for the current time and date, which
yeah.
is kind of nice. That
Oh,
also
yeah, sure,
works.
let's see, yeah.
Yeah, that works with well, not with
Oh,
Llama.
the
That's
LLMs already worked.
Oh.
that already worked. This is about
Oh.
if you use the normal intents.
Oh yeah, normal intents.
So not
Well,
no AI.
Well, okay, now this
What
is
is the
I
current
don't know
time?
what the exact what is. So this
The
wouldn't work.
time.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Boom. See how fast? Now
That's instant. No,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, that's true. The bedroom. Yeah.
See, this still works. No AI involved, no local.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, environmental friendly as well.
Yeah, this is
So
ever
this is a good
faster.
alternative. But this
Yeah.
now works with the time and date. So that's kind of nice. And if you use timers, which we have introduced a
Ooh,
few
right.
releases back, and you use that on your mobile phone, this is actually cool. So if you have um, your companion app set up with Home Assistant and use Assist. Maybe you have like the fast button on the side of the iPhone. I'm not even sure what it's called. I don't have that thing.
Action
What's it called?
button.
The action button. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's confusing with actions. Anyways, if you hit the action button, you get the assist, and you ask it to set a timer. That actually works from the companion app now too. If you have the latest companion app in this release, and then it will show
Also
you a message, right?
notification. Yeah, so you get
Notification.
a Home Assistant will just send you a push notification when your timer runs out, which I think is really cool.
Nice. So that's a cool addition there.
Yeah, that I don't have a demo. Yeah, it works on your phone.
Yeah.
Android, right? Not iOS.
No, also iOS.
Oh,
Any
iOS.
really?
they both support push notifications.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can. That's kind of nice. All right. Yeah, we have another one sitting here that hasn't discussed anything yet, but I'm pretty sure he has a demo. I hope. Do we have a demo, Stefan?
Oh, we can't hear
We
it.
don't hear you. Audio. Oh boy.
Oh, let's quickly recompile the.
All right.
Oh, while Stefan prepares his microphone, we cannot hear you, Stefan. There's an exciting update that we haven't even mentioned in the release notes, but
Ooh.
we are working on Matter certification in up to a point that like there's a company, we have signed a deal that we're doing with them. Marshall has visited their office, installed Home Assistant Greens in their test lab, wore a lab coat. Very important.
If you go to a lab, you have to, right?
Yeah, and
I
Can
do
we
hear
share the
Stefan's
picture?
mic.
yeah, we done pre-certification, and soon this month, I think they're going to actually run the full certification. So hopefully, we have some great news about Matter being certified next month.
Now?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes,
We can hear you. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
also
Yes.
I hear you.
hear background noise, but I'm not sure if it's
Oh,
you.
yeah, maybe I probably pushed it a bit too much now.
You're pretty loud as well.
Better?
Yeah,
That's better.
Okay. So that's Matter 1.3, Paulus, right?
yeah, correct. We're certifying Matter 1.3, which is the latest Matter as of today. There are 2 Matter releases each year. Next one coming in November, right? Budapest.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a big thing in this release which I think is absolutely stunning, which we're going to share, and which hopefully, Stefan, you can showcase.
Yeah, I think sort of, yeah.
Sort of. I'll take that.
So, yeah, so we were working on Matter updates, right? So Matter, the new smart home standard, supports over-the-air update. The way it basically works is that it's an optional feature any Matter device can have, like Wi-Fi or thread-based devices. A device can basically be an OTA requester, which means it can process OTA updates. And somewhere within the network, there needs to be an OTA provider, which then sends these updates to that device. That's basically how it
OTA
works.
meaning over the air update, right?
Over the air, yeah. Exactly. And so I can maybe share my screen here then, right? I lost, of course, my setting from before because I dropped off, but it should be.
Nice moderator. You can show that. Here we go. Yes, Marcel.
That's good. Yeah,
In his
with
lab
He
coat.
looks
the
so
lab.
smart.
holding a Home Assistant green. He has a Home Assistant badge on his lab coat as well.
Home assistant haircut as well.
Yeah, that's right.
nowadays.
No, I love the sticker that he put on the back too behind the chips. So he just hid every little Home Assistant logo he could. It was very cute.
Everywhere.
Enhance.
Ah, yeah, right. So mean.
Yeah.
All right. Stefan has a screen shared, so maybe we should look at that. He has the logo on the code as well. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Stefan, where's your screen? Oh, there it is. Shall we share it?
Yeah.
Yes. So unfortunately, so it's kind of funny. I actually updated all my devices I have, and this is one of the limitations of Matter over-the-air update. You cannot downgrade. You can only update. Once you update it, you can only roll forward, right? And I basically updated everything I have. So I went to the store and bought another Eve device and hoped that I could do an update. But they actually installed
with
the
the
latest
latest
version, shipped with the latest version. So I'm like, I plugged it in and like, no, it has the latest version. So I cannot do an actual real update. What I do have here is basically a little Matter test program, which
Stefan, could you,
basically shows
Can
the
you
problem.
reduce the width of your browser tab? Even more
Look at that
precise.
FBI zoom in action, enhance thingy.
That's,
FBI in it.
Maybe close the sidebar.
CSI, right?
yeah.
Perfect.
There we go. Nice.
Oh, like a pro.
Cool. Yeah, so this one now is basically when a Matter device supports update, you will get this this line here basically. So even if you have a device, let's quickly check if I certainly have a device which doesn't have an update right now. It just says up to date. If there is no update available from the cloud currently, or from like the from the DCL, the distributed ledger, which is part of the Matter ecosystem.
It's a
then
blockchain, right? That's the key word there.
Yeah, it's
Which
a
is kinda
blockchain
nice, actually.
for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it is very cool that Matter has over-the-air updates built in, and that they have a system where people can upload it. So yeah, it's even though it's a blockchain,
Yeah.
it works.
So
It's a
it
distribution
only
method.
it only distributes the metadata though. But I mean that's kind of the relevant things, right?
Yeah.
Like when there is an update, like what is the checksum of it, and like where can you download it from? But ultimately, the updates you download basically directly from wherever the vendor stores it, but somewhere online.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you have this basically update entity here, so that's that means that this device actually supports Matter update. But of course, that doesn't mean that the vendor actually published something, or it might just not never actually publish one. If a device doesn't have Matter update, like this device, then you just don't have that. So this device will not receive a Matter update ever, basically, because it doesn't have the OTA requester feature, basically. Going back to this one, so when there is an update available, you will see which version, and then you basically can just install it. What will happen in the background, it will download the update basically to your Home Assistant installation, and then from there distribute it to the device. So even though Matter devices are IP-based, they do not need to reach out to the internet directly. It's not that like the device which does the update basically reaches out directly. It's basically Home Assistant doing the proxy here. In the Matter standard, that's then the OTA provider. So you stay within the network. It stays encrypted in like within the network. Yeah. But of course, Home Assistant needs to be able to reach out to the internet to download the update. In theory, we could also implement like an offline update type of thing, like that we download all the updates and store it locally or something. But currently, it just
how it
checks
shows the
and
progress there. The progress is so cool.
Yeah, the progress then basically gets updated from the device, so the device continuously say like how far it is, and yeah. Maybe to note here also, this is really a firmware update, right? These are embedded devices or microcontrollers, so there is some risk involved. Typically, it's fairly safe because they do update the updates into memory usually, and then flash at the end onto actual flash storage. That's usually how microcontroller updates are implemented. But yeah, you shouldn't pull out battery and stuff. It's you never know.
Yeah.
And
I think it's also good to note that we have the Work with Home System program. I mentioned it before, like it's a program from the Open Home Foundation where we work with companies that make devices that, respect privacy, choice, sustainability. Obviously, Matter devices are one of these type of devices. Zigbee Z-Wave devices also are part of these devices where like they will, even if the company goes out of business, you will still be able to configure, set them up. And we are actually, it's a requirement for companies already in Zigbee and Z-Wave, but now it will also be for Matter that if they want to become Works with Home Assistant partners, they need to publish their firmware updates such that Home Assistant can make them available, so that you can get updates. So Works with Home Assistant devices will really be best of class supported in Home Assistant. So if it's Matter, it will use this system as well to receive updates.
Exactly. I also added the batches here now.
Nice.
They are beautiful, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Maybe also to note is currently it's Eve and Nanoleaf, which basically published updates onto the ledger. So there's not that many devices. Also that like Nanoleaf, for instance, it's kind of interesting. Like when they first started to make Matter devices, first they had like their own update system. And now they enabled Matter update in a later update. So you basically need to update their bulbs first to a newer version through their app, which then has the Matter update feature built in. And then from then onwards, you basically can update through Matter. If they were supporting Matter updates from the beginning.
That's nice.
So yeah, I was really hoping that I could get an old one from the store and then have updates, actual updates for that. One more thing I wanted to mention. So Matter has this feature multi-admin, right? So you can actually connect it to multiple ecosystems, and at least Apple does Matter updates already for Eve. I'm actually not sure about Nanoleaf, and I think also SmartThings, so others actually already do that. Of course, a device can only be updated once or only needs to be updated once. So if you have hooked up your Matter devices maybe to Apple directly, then basically there's a high chance they are already updated, right? But yeah, if you use purely Home Assistant, you can do updates as well now.
Yeah. And we expect within the CSA Alliance, we're also working with more vendors to kind of, even the ones that are not part of the Work with Home Assistant program, like, hey, let's get your firmware up and running, right? This is the best way that we can help you get your fixes out. And so we're also working on a way to make it easier for people to actually put up their firmware there.
Yeah, so if you're watching and you're working for a manufacturer making Matter devices, like maybe like push a little bit for those firmware updates and put them on the ledger that is there and provided by Matter, right? Like it's really nice for users to be able to update devices this way. So please just make that happen.
Yeah, I would really like to see that they enable a bit more like beta testing through the ledger, so that like vendors could upload like pre-releases or beta versions, or like that there's nothing like that currently. There is people are just for us to test would be nice, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Anything more from Matter this cycle, Stefan?
Yeah, I mean there
have some more, right?
There is more, but I don't have actually prepared a demo for more. So, but yeah, there is we added a bunch of device types which were in 1.3, like a microwave oven, I think, although we pulled that one, but there is a oven, I think oven in general, dishwasher, I think. There's a couple of more like appliance type of devices which got added, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we now have select entities provided by Matter devices, so you can select in some cases, like if you have a laundry or a dryer in Matter, you can select the program it runs, I believe, or the mode it runs in. Things like that are now available. We've seen some updates on the event entities, I believe.
Yeah, it should be easier to use remotes now in Matter as well.
Yeah, so before basically the way kind of events worked, you had to, if you have like a multi-press, you had to kind of count the presses basically in your automation. So if you did like 3 press, you had to automate that in your automation to see when is the third press. That's now much easier. There's just one event for basically such a press, if your device supports it, right? So these devices can have like a wide variety of what they actually support. Switches, that is. Right. So switches actually create an event entity.
Right. All right, nice. So that's Matter. Updates, update entities, firmware updates, the select entities, more device types, and event entities have been improved.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
We need to move on because we have 25 minutes left, and
well, let me quickly highlight a few things that I still want to highlight here, because we're
Yeah.
talking about Matter. We also have to talk about Zigbee Home Automation, or ZHA. If you're using the ZHA integration in Zigbee and Home Assistant, there have been 3 people, David Putley, who also works for Nabokasa, by the way, and Julian Jess. They have been working on a change for months. This has been a huge undertaking. They have split it out, like more technical, but the code base living inside Home Assistant has been split out in a separate package for easy maintenance and things like that. This has been a huge thing that has been worked on for months. And all this effort should result in nothing, because it should be just as working just as good or as bad, bug by bug compatible with the previous versions. But still, this has 3 people that have been working on this for months, and it has been a huge undertaking. I think it's well worth the mention here, and it should be running just as fine as before. It does help with future development.
Yeah, the future development will be a lot easier to maintain, add more quirks, add support for better devices, these kind of things. So,
Yep.
Yep.
Another one in the protocol kind of stratosphere here is a German one that is interesting to see, which landed in this release, which is neither of us have this, so we cannot demonstrate this for sure. But this is KNX by which Farm.io has worked on a lot. And what is cool about KNX, or maybe we should talk about what KNX actually is a little bit, but KNX. Yeah,
KNX is kind of a interesting. It's a smart home standard, which is pretty old already, and it relies on a bus. So it's like a single wire, like 12 volt or something low voltage, that goes through your house that allows devices, that are KNX devices, to publish to. Because of it's a wired standard, it's actually very, very reliable, because there's no wireless interference. But the problem, of course, is because it's wired. It's like, when do you put electricity wires in your wall or network cables? That's the same time you would put a KNX bus into the wall, which is where you built a house. So in Europe, it's, by the way, not only Germany, although I think Germany is a popular adopter. There are newly built houses that will have KNX to control and hook up light switches and light bulbs and garage doors and these kind of things. And the standard exists. It's a bit of a hard standard because there's no metadata. The bus is very efficient. It only shares the data and not the metadata. Metadata being, oh, I'm this device, this is the actual turn on off value, these kind of things. So it's really only the data comes through, which means it's pretty hard to configure. So there's these things like project files, which that already gets maybe too detailed, but it was always really difficult to configure it. You had to go into YAML, kind of really know what you were doing. Now, Farm.io, what he has built, it's really beautiful. You upload your project file, which contains all your metadata, and one by one, you'll be able to create an entity and then drag and drop values into it. So you can really be like,
Did I hear drag and drop?
oh
It's
yeah,
drag and drop. Yes, from the side. You sent me a message like, "How do I screenshot a drag and drop?" That's so hard. That's hard. You can basically not.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
So-
can drag and drop from the sidebar, which are like the addresses where data goes over the KNX bus right into the entity in the different positions.
Yeah. So if you use KNX, this will be, and you haven't set up Home Assistant fully yet, this will be very welcoming because it will really help you navigate the KNX.
Thank you, Farm.io.
That's. But yeah, it will really help you get started with KNX and really build out your Home Assistant integration. So, and it's cool because it just really shows the versatility of like KNX being an open standard, just being able to get into Home Assistant, and now you can use your phone, your watch, your voice assistant, anywhere Home Assistant runs, your car, you can now control your KNX stuff, even if your house is like 30 years built, 30 years ago it was built. So very cool, great work, Farm.io.
Yeah, very well done. Previously, people had to do this in YAML, right, and then write out like the specific addresses for the bus onto like the YAML places and options. And now being just to add an entity and drag and drop stuff in place, magnificent. It's just cool. Well done.
Yeah.
Definitely well done. All right. Yeah, this is what I have around the basically a protocol kind of type integrations, but we also have a bunch of new integrations this release. Let me quickly scroll up to them because there are quite a lot in here.
A lot
this
of cool
cycle.
ones.
A lot of cool ones. Let's highlight a few. I'm not sure.
I am stoked about 11 Labs.
Right.
11 Labs is one
expected
of the companies that is really pushing text to speech and what is possible with text to speech. And they do a lot of cool stuff. Sorgfresser, he spent a lot of time on the PR, and thanks for your patience as we work through all of this. But I'm really stoked that now, users will be able to use 11 Labs text to speech to get another collection of cool voices in.
Yeah.
He's one of our new integration owners too. So not only did he get to contribute this over, he's also one of our integration owners.
Yeah.
Awesome. But JLo used 11 Labs to build his GLaDOS to make it a reality. In case you don't know, GLaDOS is the evil computer from the game Portal.
Combined
Well,
with ChatGPT. Okay.
So although JLo uses GLaDOS from 11 Labs, somebody else just I forgot the link now, but there's a Piper voice. So Piper is our own text-to-speech engine that we built that works fully offline, and somebody added a GLaDOS voice for that one as well, which works pretty good. So, but yeah, it's I'm stoked about 11 Labs.
I like the. There's a little bit in the middle, but it's one of those things we didn't have, and I'm so happy it's there. You can pull in your soldering iron into Home Assistant. It's a little iron soldering iron from Pine 64 Pine. It's called the Pine Sill.
It's called
and the Pine Sill is like, I don't know, what is it, like $25? Oh, Stefan has it, right? I have one too, by the way, but I hadn't dropped it here. Exactly. That's it. That's the Pine Sill. And it has Bluetooth. And now you can pull in data from it. And I've seen a PR even to update firmware on it over the air from Home Assistant. Pine 64 is the mix for.
Yeah.
And we got Trantor in chat.
He created it.
He's the guy who made it. Yeah. Pine 64 is the manufacturer for people.
Yeah.
They are actually amazing.
It's USB-C, which is so cool. You can basically use your soldering iron from like a USB-C, any USB-C power provider.
If it provides enough power, like, otherwise it will be slow. But yeah, I have one too. It's amazing. I actually stopped using my soldering station actually because of it. But it's the thing. The reason why I like this integration is not because I find there's a big use case for me personally, but it's one of those products that you're not imagined to be added to your home automation system, and now it's there. I find it cool.
I mean, I guess it's useful. It's like if it detects that the temperature is still really high and you're not at home, it can send you a warning.
Yep. Oh, that's a good one.
I think it's mostly it's mostly sensors, but yeah, you can set the temperature too. So I guess you can remotely turn off the iron, the soldering iron.
Actually.
Yeah, or control it over voice, right? And just shout what temperature you want to have.
Yeah.
Oh, when it's heated up. It's like, hey, that's cool.
Notifications and such. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah. One integration I'm also very excited about is LinkPlay. LinkPlay is a module that is part of a whole range of smart speakers that offers like Spotify Connect, AirPlay, DNA, Tidal, all that kind of stuff. It's such a module, right? And it's actually one that is being white labeled, so it's put in like a lot of different products. The product I have myself is the Wim Pro, but with two I's, WIIM. But there's a lot of other speaker manufacturers that have this module from LinkPlay inside. So all of those will now be able to communicate with Home Assistant, which is super exciting. So yeah, lots of more ways of getting local control of your media, which is always very good.
Yeah, it's really helpful because like I essentially on my desk I use that as like the receiver in between my computer and my speakers, so it allows me to stream music like from Tidal, from I can actually use Alexa. I used to be able to use Alexa, not anymore because I'm using Home Assistant. But yeah, like I can use Music Assistant with it too, and have it stream music to the Wim.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you, Duke of Philberg.
Yep.
Very excited about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be the one that is liking weird integrations, but Math VR Envy is one of them. Sorry, it's just another one. Let me share. Like, if you have like an home theater and you want like go full out, they have like a video processing unit you can use with Home Assistant now.
And it looks very affordable.
It looks very affordable. Yeah, definitely. The ultimate in high-end cinema is also the affordable sentence here, I guess.
Yeah.
The awards will help too with the pricing, I assume.
How many ports are there at the back?
I have no idea, but just the looks of it, and this is one of those things again that you're like, okay, but where does this come from? But the fact is, we support it, and it's cool to see things like this land in Home Assistant somehow. I like that somebody has a use case, and somebody contributes it for everybody to use.
No,
it's just cool.
And thank you. I love ice green tea.
Yeah.
I actually want to kind of call out the SimpleFin integration because that was spawned from another cloud service getting shut down, from my understanding, right?
I'm not sure of the origin, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, no, I was told it's from Mint.com shutting down their cloud service. So thanks to G for actually getting that pulled up and set up for us. So yeah, SimpleFin is for the people who were using Mint.com.
Oh, amazing.
So to tell you what it does, you can pull in your account information, your balance information from your bank, right? That's what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then use AI to control your bank account.
To control your transactions.
and then control your soldering iron. Oh, wow.
Well, that's not a good idea either.
Don't buy devices. You got to solder this week. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Scott G in the chat who's also helped us, who helped out with that one. So
nice.
On the bottom, there's a Tesla fleet. I want to highlight that one a little bit because, like, we've seen quite a few Tesla integrations passing by in the last few releases, including Tesla Matri and Tessie, and now Tesla Fleet is in here. I do want to explain a little bit what it is. Tesla Fleet is basically the official Fleet API that is provided by Tesla. And yeah, you can connect up your Tesla vehicle, your Powerwall, or whatever other Tesla product you have, which is kind of nice that it supports a lot. The thing is, though, it is more limited in how many times it can query or control things. So if you're looking for more frequent updates or being able to control more than the API has in limits, then you should look for other integrations like Tessie or Tesla Metric. But yeah, Tesla Fleet is now in here as it is using the official APIs, which is kind of nice. Contributed by Bree, by the way, which has contributed to Tessie and Tesla Metric as well.
Yeah, he's into Tesla APIs for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah. We've seen a few new feature integrations too. O-Power cannot be left out this release, right? So we have another one for O-Power. If you drive a Mini, that now is being supported by the BMW Connect Drive integration, and Pinecell is here, of course, to support the Iron S integration there.
Nice.
Some noteworthy changes. HomeKit Bridge. This is a huge list. We're going to pick some, I guess, as well. But HomeKit Bridge now supports the event entities. If they're like doorbell and motion sensor events, they will now be able to pull them over into the HomeKit ecosystem. Kind of nice to do stuff with that. Thank you, B. Draco, for that. And while he was at it, he also added support to the Unified Protect Doorbird and August integrations to actually provide those event entities that then can be used with that HomeKit Bridge one, right? So that's absolutely very nice.
Yeah. I think the WLED one is interesting because this has been often requested. Color temperature, it actually, I think, required a rewrite, Frank, of the WLED integration. Also good to note is that it will require WLED 0.14. So that's update has been out for a year.
Yeah.
So
something like that. Yeah. The problem with CCT support has always been that it had changed a little bit. There were also bugs in the past in certain versions. So at this point, we've cut off at 0.14 as there were the biggest changes, and now we were able to support it pretty well. Also, the rewrite has improved support for updates of WLED as well, so more devices should be supported, and the update should be working way better now. So after this update, you should be able to update devices as well more easily. Mealy is in here again. This time Joost teamed up with Andrew, and Andrew made originally, I believe, the custom integration for Mealy, and they're both working together now in improving the built-in integration for Mealy. So we see a bunch of new actions here. I got the term right in one time. Then we have a bunch of new actions and features available now this release, including things like importing recipes and setting the meal plan and things like that. So that's really nice to see. I know a lot of people like the new Mealy integration. If you're still using RSS feeds, Michael actually added the event entity to the feed reader integration. If you remember correctly, the feed reader integration came to the UI, I believe, last release or the release before that. But if you set up an RSS feed in Home Assistant, you now have an event entity. So if you want to automate, like, I don't know, notifications or about like RSS feeds you follow, you could, like, for example, get the text from the RSS feed, send it to ChatGPT, make a summary of the article, and send it over to, I don't know, your mobile device and things like that. It's very cool. You can automate with that stuff now. So that's a cool one. Interesting also is Roborock, I think, because we all know Roborock from the fact that, they have vacuum cleaners, right? And we have the Roborock integration. But we now have support for the Roborock Zeo, which is not what I expected to see, actually. I
didn't realize they had pivoted, but
right. It's a washing dryer combination. I didn't expect that to happen, actually. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I was gonna
That's
say, best guesses in chat. What do we got here? No, it's a washer
Yeah.
dryer combo. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Does it move around the house to collect your laundry?
Oh, that would be
Does
good.
it fold my laundry for me? Because I really need
iron
help
it
with
and
that.
such. Yeah,
I've
definitely.
I've been reading up on washer dryers because I always like to have technology do more things. But the downside is that you can only do, like in this one, you can do 10 kilos, I think, of washing in the washing machine, but only 6 kilo in the dryer. So if you want to have it do both, you can only fill up the clothes to be washed to a lower amount. And normally you have a dryer with a bigger tumbler, and then it does match up with your washing machine. So it is a downside of these systems.
I have had a washer drying combination in the past. It is actually pretty nice, to be honest, Paulus, especially because you can load up, and not that much, but you can load up something and then just go to sleep, and in the morning it's dry. That's
Yeah, that is
that's so nice. You don't have to interact in between, especially for overnight. But if you have solar panels, that's not efficient, right? So actually I don't have it anymore.
So many
Choices.
things to, yeah.
Choices. Shelly is one that I want to highlight in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because Shelly has now something they call featural components. And what it is and entails is that you can basically create in Shelly some kind of featural switch or featural light or featural boolean, things like that in your Shelly device. And you can pull them into Home Assistant and then do things with it. The nice thing is,
It's
and the
like our input booleans, right? Like our input text.
yeah, exactly. Like our helpers, basically, they are helpers in the Shelly world.
Yeah.
The nice thing what you can do with it, for example, if you have like the Shelly wall display, which is like a little display where the buttons will show, you could make a featural thing that is shown on the wall display and then use automations in Home Assistant to sync them up with the actual light and control actual lights from your featural component on your Shelly display in Home Assistant. So that's the use case there, or maybe you want to use the script engine. That's possible too. But yeah, that's now there. It's cool to see that being supported.
One thing I wanted to point out is the one above it, which is Habitica. Habitica is like it started as an app that like help people build their habits by making it look like a role-playing game, a video game. And you can make your own character, you gain experience when you do your to-do list, gain health and all that. And so it used to be only just sensors and button controls, but now they actually integrated the to-dos and the dailies in the Home Assistant. So essentially, you can really control your entire character inside Home Assistant and have your to-do list synchronized everywhere on like a home dashboard and to your phone in the app.
That's cool.
It's
that's
awesome.
really cool.
I think Mealy, talking about to-do lists, I think Mealy also pulls in the shopping list, by the way. I like these kind of like things that they pull in data. I think this one is just as well with Habitica, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Google and Amazon are removing third-party shopping lists. We're cranking them in. But it's good because you can automate them with actions. You can automate that. You can talk with voice. You can add to shopping lists. Like there's a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We have 3 integrations reaching platinum level: BMW Connected Drive, Techno VE, and there's another Tesla one. Tessie also is now platinum, so that's cool. This release has quite a lot of integrations moving to the UI: Blue Sound, Genius Up, History State, Mastodon, Rosson, Rio, Wake Online, and World Clock. And Paulus is going to interact here, I'm sure.
I'm excited about History Stats. I use History Stats on my climate dashboard to show how much the heating has been on today, how much heating it was on yesterday, and so this will make it very easy for people to add this to their own dashboards as well.
And you, as a frequent traveler, I think World Clock will be very useful too, right?
That's true.
Like for all of us actually working across so many different time zones, like if you see behind me, I have 4 clocks there, and because like I do want to know where all my teammates are. Is it morning for them or is it afternoon for them? So that's very useful for World Clock. And sometimes because like daylight savings time and summer times, like sometimes the clock just changes. So having that here all synchronized is good. So it's not
No,
just like a
yeah.
simple calculation of time of minus how many hours, because depending on the day of the year, it can be very different.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
4 yeah. Logitech.
yeah,
Basically.
Logitech has to focus on their forever mouse, so they stopped development on their squeeze box.
It can
Now
be
they had acquired the
subscription
squeeze box
mouse.
company long time. They've been slowly phasing it out. Now they've dropped all the support. They no longer want to pay for any of this. So
Yep.
UE Ultimate Ears Smart Radio has been removed because it no longer works.
In this case, it is actually a service. Not confused with
It
actions.
does make me wonder, like, how long Logitech Harmony is going to last, because there's still a lot of people using the remote.
Yeah, until their licensing on the infrared database expires or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, they can charge subscription. Oh, no, don't give them any ideas.
Don't give them ideas.
I'm going to scroll real quick because this goes
Yeah.
south. Okay. All right, we give them wrong
Our
ideas.
mark.
We hit the 1 hour mark, and we still have something else to discuss because we
I have one tiny feature that I really love to show.
See, here we go. And we also have other noteworthy changes that are not from integrations, but from ourselves. So Paul has quickly introduced already, like we now show the Open Home Foundation.
Yeah.
We talked about the assist support and the current day time we've showed. We also introduced MicroFAT this release, which is more of an internal thing.
Yeah, this is VAT stands for Voice Activity Detection. So we use this in Voice Assistant to detect when you're finished with speaking. We used to use one that was, that worked moderately, pretty bad actually. And now Kevin made his own one. And Mike is able to port this to run inside Home Assistant by just manually crafting some machine learning runtime, a minimal one, just to run this one model, which is awesome. And so it works a lot better. So if you're using voice, you had problems with it remaining on, now that will no longer be the case.
Yep. The picture element card we talked about, Madalena showed it earlier this stream. Home Assistant will now raise a repair issue if a script cannot be set up because, for example, a syntax error in YAML if you do, which is pretty nice, so you can actually find them. Otherwise, you wouldn't know something went wrong. So it's nice to raise a repair issue for that. We also raise a repair issue if you have an integration setup that no longer exists. So if you, for example, kick out a custom integration from your drive, from your folders, and you're like, I don't use this anymore, and there's still something set up, Home Assistant will now warn for that and help you guiding, cleaning that last bits up if there's still something there.
Yeah.
The group support we've showed, generic thermostat and hygrostat helpers are actually now assigned to the device that provide the actuator. Which is really nice. So if you have like a featural thermostat with a switch that controls your heater based on another temperature sensor, it will show up on the device that provides that switch.
Very nice.
History stats does the same, by the way. It's also linked to the device that it
Dark has been
originates
active, huh? Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Switch the template entities we've showed. And there's a little button if you write like real template things, like big templates with results of services that returned response values. You can now copy that data as JSON and use them quickly. And the picture elements, picture entity, and picture glance cards can now use the person entity as a source of an image. So you don't have to set up, upload an image again, but you can say, okay, use the image from this person as the image for this card, and that will just work.
A quick demo.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the coolest thing, right? It's like usually I see a lot of people with dashboards like with pictures of the entire family, they have to make badges or buttons for it. Now you can just pick it from here, and
there we go.
It's done. And yeah, perfect.
Nice.
That's actually really cool.
Yes, I love it.
And drag and drop.
Drag and drop. You love that.
So that's a very short demo. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Too many buttons.
Yeah.
We talked about the helpers, I think. Yeah, we did. And then we have backwards and compatible changes. The biggest one we've already highlighted during the stream. I want to reiterate on that one, highlight it again. Is to be wait. Yes, if you run MySQL or PostgreSQL databases behind Home Assistant, so not the built-in one, but if you set up your own databases like MariaDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, the upgrade might take time. It needs to migrate. Let it go. It will take time, and it needs to complete. Be patient for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the changes aren't that bad. There are some that are disabled because of licensing, upstream licensing not in order. We've been working on improving the situation there. And some of these integrations now have been disabled because the licensing upstream wasn't okay. We didn't find any use cases or any usages of these integrations. The analytics report 0 use, so probably nobody is affected, but still that's large part of this list. So be sure to check it if there's anything in here that affects you. Most of the stuff is small. There's really nothing big here. The WLED one is big one too, but that's already highlighted by Paulus earlier this stream. So yeah, that.
Oh, well, actually, if you are a developer of a custom component, we just highlighted the important developer blocks. The one that I am very interested in that people should note is the introduction of model ID. Because for device info, people can add, besides model name, also model ID, which is a static identifier for a device, which is nice because in case you want to collect all the devices in a single place or something.
Yep. If you're a developer, look at these, by the way. They're very helpful, and you will be up to date in the new features we're exposing in this release as well, right? Yeah. And actually, we need to go back to top button here, someday. Would be nice, but yeah, that's this release. Actually, we're through it, which was a lot.
Wow, that was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I thought this is gonna be a tiny release in summer.
No, the next one is gonna be really tiny.
Yes.
The next one's actually going to be missing a few people too. So there's several of us that are going to be on vacation. Frank and I are going to be ones that are actually going to be out. So you won't see our faces next month.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's time for a break.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been working way too hard all year, Frank. It's time for your break.
I do. I am looking forward to a break. That's the honest truth. Yes, that's for sure. It's a good one. But this release, like, I really can go now. Like, this one was just huge, unexpected huge, actually. And I really like the huge amount of quality of life improvements in the release. There's so much hidden in here, and I have not even listed all, like the other noteworthy. I would definitely go into to the release notes and check them out. There's so many gems in here. It's amazing. So everybody, thank you for contributing. It has been an extremely nice release. Thanks to all the contributions.
Yes.
Someone's asking again about the Discord changes. We are actually doing an anniversary stream in September like we normally do. I'm actually really hoping to finalize those changes by that stream so I can show them off and just basically talk about all the changes that come through. So I know I promised this. Well, I shouldn't say promise. I did a fuzzy date back.
Is this an officially committed deadline, Missy? You gotta
You guys are definitely killing me.
1 hour project.
Right? Oh my god. Jeez.
These are famous. These are famous last words, right?
Oh man. Yeah. I'm working on some finalizations for it right now, but that's it.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome.
Don't forget to press like and subscribe.
Oh yes, it's YouTube still, right? Like and subscribe for all the work and things that have been done. I think it has been a cool release, and hit the like button if you think so too, and subscribe for the next time so you can watch. And thank you so much for joining this stream and looking and staying with us for 2 hours and 10 minutes almost. Stefan, also thank you for joining. Good to see you here. And
if you like what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe to Home Assistant Cloud. and
Yes,
so we
please.
can do more cool stuff and keep building out this independent smart home platform.
Definitely.
All
All right.
right.
All right.
Thanks,
Let's say
everyone.
goodbye.
Bye, guys.